everyone. Welcome to the Northland Artist Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly. I am your host. Host with the most. Yeah, you know what? It's always hard to work out how to start these podcasts. And the reason I say that is because I always say, the host or the host with the most, or Charon that takes you down the river Styx, which is it's either a Greek or Roman reference. I'm the facilitator. There you go. Of some amazing conversations with some of the wonderful Northland artists that we've had, and will continue to have as well. We've been very fortunate. 2-year anniversary this year was pretty great, and we continue to get such wonderfully high caliber guests as well. And this one is absolutely no different. I'm going to flick to my camera. Today's guest is very, very different. Now, I don't mean different in terms of like personality, quirkiness, or just being out there, but we've had people that I would call on camera. So like you get your artists, like your poets and your painters and your actors and that sort of stuff, and then a few behind the scenes people as well. But this one was just really, really different. I'm talking about our next guest, who goes by the name of Tiana, because that's her first name, and she is a stunt person in training, which is crazy. How many people in Northland could you say that that have gone to stunt training school to become a stunt performer? She was the first one, man, and it was so cool to sit down with her and kind of work out how she kind of got from point A to point B. And it is absolutely fascinating. But when you hear the whole podcast, it all makes sense. Like you can actually see, right, she started here, okay, and we know she's going to end up here. So yeah, makes sense. So I highly recommend either watching or listening to the whole podcast. Well worth it. So let's sit down and have a conversation with stunt performer Tiana. Waiting to see her break first. Tiana, welcome to the Northern Artist Conversation podcast.
Hi.
That was radio silence there for a moment. Lee will do something in post because she's amazing like that. Thank you so much for joining us. This is very cool, and this is going to be a little bit interesting. Well, I don't mean a little bit interesting. I mean a lot interesting. A lot interesting. I promise I will use my English grammar correctly. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. It's a vocal warm-up. Right. Thank you. I'll let you speak at some point. Now, how long have we known each other? 8 months?
Yeah.
Last year,
Last year, yeah.
8 to 10 months. It's pretty crazy. I mean, how did I originally approach you?
I think maybe Lee told me.
Editor Lee?
Yeah, told me about you. Or
was it like, hey, this is a really nice guy, maybe catch up with him? Or one of those, this guy's a real asshole, but he'll come in from time to time, maybe just steer clear. It's okay if it's the last one. I just don't give a shit.
Nah, I think it was all to do with like the stunt work, and I think maybe because I told her about the stunt work and the filming and stuff, that was pretty.
Well, that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
You are a stunt performer. We've done stunt performing work.
Yeah.
You've trained at stunt school. Try saying that really fast. And as far as I'm aware, one of the very few people in Northland to have done it, if not the stunt performer, because you were working towards certifications and stuff, eh?
Yeah. I was trying to build my resume and that kind of work.
Now, stunts is So this, for me, this is going to be a fascinating conversation. I think you're probably the third person in my entire, creative journey that the actual third stunt person I've ever properly met. And it's the same question that I've asked the other two. How the hell does one actually get into stunts? Do you look at a movie and go, man, I'd really like to be throwing some shit through some shit, or I'd really like to look like I'm getting beaten the shit out of? And then you go, man, that looks exciting. How did you... You know what? Scrap all of that. We'll get to that. What was life like growing up for you? Because we should start at the start, right? Because you didn't watch a movie at 6 years old and go, I want to be a stunt person, and then you were like, ta-da.
Yeah.
But what were you like as a kid?
Well, I was so active. Like, I did gymnastics and trampolining, like, my whole life. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I did gymnastics since I was like 5 till I was probably like 12, and then like I was just so like drawn to the tramps that I would get in trouble because I'd be playing on them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing trampolining, and I did that till I was about 16, 17, and I went to nationals twice. My first nationals, I had ankle surgery like 9 months before. And was it a tramp-related injury? No, it was actually, I was walking down Parihaka, and I just ran past some people, and it was gravel, and then I just like rolled my ankle, and then I kept rolling it, and then it just ended up breaking all the cartilage and tendons around my ankle. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, just because of like the trampolining as well, it was just like never properly healing.
Yeah.
And so, I ended up having surgery, and then 9 months later I went to nationals, and I was 7th in New Zealand.
7th?
Yeah.
What about gymnastics? Did you compete at a national level, or was it just more regional?
Regional mostly in gymnastics. I can't really remember.
That's okay. It was
just crazy. It was more trampolining I was more loving. I did gymnastics hard out, but trampolining was like...
That's where your heart was.
Yeah, that I wanted to do.
Were you, growing up, was your household very creative? Or were they athletic? Or was it all nerdy? What was it like
my mum was like... She's such an artist. She paints, draws. She's so good at drawing.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, but she's more on the creative side now, like creates like we'll get driftwood from the beach and like shells and stuff, and then like just create art pieces like that and stuff like that. But she's a teacher as well, so
oh wow,
she's
Did you ever lean towards that side of things, or was Dad sporty? Or
my dad played rugby and all of that, but he had knee surgery, so he was kind of out of the game after that. But I was just more into my physical side. I could never draw. I was the shittest drawer ever.
Okay.
But I was just always jumping around. Like it's like I had ADHD or something. Like
I was about to say, are you diagnosed with anything?
No.
Okay.
Oh, not professionally.
Not officially.
Yeah.
Any self-diagnosis?
No.
So, as someone that was sort of competing at a national and international level for two disciplines, how was school for you? Like, did you go, I went to school and did really well, or you were like, I just wanted to jump on shit?
School was average. I wanted to do good because my mum was a teacher, and she was always pushing me, and she knew what you kind of needed to do.
Yeah.
And all of that, so I'd always just want to try my best at school, so I was just a goody good girl. And then it was school, then straight to training every single day. Like, I didn't
have much of a life.
Yeah, didn't do like anything else really.
Didn't get into trouble.
No, not through school at least.
Right, so when you got out of school,
I left school.
Shit went sideways.
Yeah, in like year 13.
Right, seems to be the sort of the year, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Being someone that was, you did okay. Would okay academically be fair?
Yeah.
Like weren't like crushing it, but weren't in the class
Yeah.
where you had like, oh, we're going to put you with a special tutor.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Just middle, average.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. What was school like for you in general? Yeah, because you and I, a bit of an age difference. I'm 2 or 3 years older than you. Quite editally. And I went to an all boys school.
Yeah.
And I did drama. And the all boys school I went to was very big on rugby and cricket.
Yeah.
2 sports I fucking hated.
Yeah.
I watched them because Dad watched them, and I gave him a punt because Dad wanted me to. But I was always into drama, and I excelled at badminton.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Not exactly the most manly of sports, though.
Still a sport.
It is a sport. It is a sport. So I got mocked mercilessly, for because it was a different time. It was the. I'm gonna reveal part of my age here. It was the early to mid 90s, and a lot of things that you can't say now you could say then.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can figure out some of those things, especially if boys weren't manly men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, rhymes with maggot. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever experience anything like that at school, or were you just kind of, I'm going to stay out of everyone's way, I've got a few friends, mess with me and I'll bounce all over your ass? No.
Nah, I think school was just kind of I got to hang out with my friends.
Oh, yeah,
I got
nice.
to, because I'd just go to training and then go home and go to sleep, go to school again. So on like my breaks, it would just be like, oh, cool, I'll just be with my friends. And it was also a whole group of us, so I was never really in like a lot of drama. But
right.
Yeah,
Where did you go to school?
I went to Girls High for 3 years. I went year 9, 10 and 11, and then I went to Carmo in year 12 and at the start of 13. Yeah, girls, that's why I left Girls High, because of drama. Because girls are just catty, like. Honestly, I can't deal. And then I'm like, Mum, I just need to go to, not because like I wanted to see the boys and stuff, but like it was just like.
Interestingly, you were hitting that age though, right?
Yeah, totally. But
getting a bit boy crazy.
But nah, like I just didn't want the drama.
Yeah.
Like it was more just like I could tell that the boys just chilled the girls out a lot more at Carmo.
Right.
Like
yep.
wasn't so catty bullying, like who's prettier, who's not prettier, who's in the group, who's not in the group kind of thing. Like that was just the drama at Girls High, because you're competing against all the girls. Like
right.
But I guess girls didn't really care when I went to Carmo. Like boys are always there, so like they didn't really like. Yeah. It was kind of just normal to them. Like,
yeah, nice.
But with like Girls High, it was like, oh, we get to see the boys after school or before school. Like, it's all they cared about was boys.
Oh.
But yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
How was it for you, sort of doing that quite strict regime of school, then training, then no life?
Well,
I mean, were you so focused and disciplined towards achieving the goal that everything else was kind of like secondary?
I loved what I did. So like, I mean, going to training was like still fun for me. Like, and I had friends there that did it with me as well. So right, I mean, like, they were my best friends, I guess, at the time. So I mean, I got to see them every day, and I got to train with them, and I got to do stuff that we both loved, and got to flip around and like do stuff. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine. See, a lot of my mates in high school, we did drama as well. So I got to, during lunchtimes we would go to the drama room and we would sit down and watch a movie. And, one movie would take 2 lunch breaks. But all the kids that weren't part of the drama club, they would want to come in and see what the movie is. I was like, well, unfortunately, you're a jock. This is for artistes. Well, it wasn't quite as ostentatious and douchey as that, but it was like, no, you can't just come on in here. Yeah. Because you'll try and take my head off if I go out on the rugby pitch with a clothesline. Yeah.
Exactly.
We all knew our spots.
Yeah.
So, you get through schooling. How did you do? Like, when you finished, did you do okay?
Yeah,
Did you walk out with, like...
level 1s and 2s. I didn't walk out with my level 3s. I left school because I was working like 3 jobs. So
Really?
yeah, I was doing like gymnastics and trampolining coaching. I worked at New World and I worked at Domino's. So I was like, what's school doing for me? That, like, they're not paying me this much, so I might as well leave
Show
and get
me
more
the money.
hours. Exactly. I was like, I'd rather work and get money than be at school. And
Yeah, so how long through year 13 did you sort of...
it was after like the term 1. I was
Oh,
like, I'm
wow,
over it.
okay, right.
Yeah.
You'd
I'm
kind of
over
made that decision. You were
Yeah,
like, fuck
yeah.
it.
And I think over the, like, you know, the Christmas period through the end of year 12 to 13, I got a whole lot of hours, you know, like
Yeah,
through over
yeah.
those. Yeah, I would have just, I took up so much hours. I was working every single day, like, and I was like, I like this money. Like, why would I want to go back to school and
Yeah.
lose 8 hours a day? Like,
Well, when you get that cash coming in,
yeah,
and during the holiday period, it's not a small amount of money either. It's like, you know, if you're working 8-10 hours a day,
Yeah.
even if you're on minimum wage and you're a student, that's
so much. Like,
that's good money.
yeah.
I mean, why would you say no? Now, why 2 jobs? Did you want more money?
Well,
Were you like Mr.
My-
Krabs?
like my coaching was purely after school, and
Right.
in the holidays it wasn't. Like, maybe like holiday school care and stuff like that, but I didn't really do that. And so I was like, I needed another job, but then my new real job was only on weekends and every second weekend. So
Right, okay.
it was like, that was also just not enough. And
Yeah.
what else am I going to do with my day? So then I got the Domino's job, and I was just delivering pizza all day. And so, yeah, and then I ended up leaving the butchery and went to bakery. So it was just like every morning bakery, then at night it would be Domino's, and then,
Oh my God.
yeah.
So just to give people a bit of context, bakery, what time of the morning do you start?
Like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you would do that.
Have like an hour break and,
And
then
then-
get into delivering pizzas till like 10 at night.
That sucks. And then you get home, you got an hour to, you have unwind for an hour. So you're getting like 4-5 hours sleep a day?
Yeah.
And how long did you sustain that for?
I was doing it for 2 years. 2 years, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, and then I got a job at Subway, and that was full time, and I ended up quitting all my jobs.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How was Subway?
Intense. Just because you're having to make the sandwich right in front of the person, like,
Yeah.
it's not just like McDonald's and stuff. Like, you don't have that pressure of them, like, right there, like, watching you. And if you've got a whole line of people,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make this sandwich really fast.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's too many pickles.
yeah.
Now that's
Oh,
not enough pickles.
can you put some more on? Oh my God, there's someone behind you. Like, hurry up.
Yeah, right, yeah. But I imagine there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, lots of pressure. Like,
But then would it go from like high pressure, large amount of people, just deadly quiet.
yeah, yeah,
And then you kind of recover
yeah, yeah. So there's
in
like,
preparation for the next rush.
lunchtime rush, dinner rush, and because I worked on Rathbone, it was like the one where you can sit in and eat in in the Subway. And so it was like, and I was doing night shifts, so I'd have to clean up what everyone's
Yeah,
spilt
yeah,
all over
yeah.
the tables, and then and then mop, but still be open, so people walk all over my mopped floor, and I'm like,
Yes.
thanks.
In the video, for those of you that are listening to this, she just did a big cheesy smile. So, are you still doing your trampolining and gymnastics, or is this all
Nah.
gone?
This is gone.
Like, we're just like focused on money,
Yeah, totally.
pay them bills.
Yeah. And I think it was because now if I was to do it, I would have to be paying the gymnastics like fee. And I didn't realise that like how much my mom was paying for me to be training every single day.
Really?
It was crazy. Like, she'd just forever be paying. Like, I mean, she's probably paid it off now, but like, just for gymnastics, I'm like,
Yeah.
so grateful. And that's probably one of the like main reasons why I wouldn't really go back. It's just I don't have the money all the time, like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What life has changed for you?
A lot.
When did you make the transition into? Is there anything in between Subway and the discovery around wanting to be a stunt performer? Is there sort of anything in between there?
Well, I had learnt that you could like be put on fire and like that's right. Be put on fire and jump off a roof and be paid like so much money and only do it once. And I'm like, I could so do that. And like,
But how does one find that out?
I don't know how I found that out, because I think it must be like the trampolining that I was doing that I honestly I can't tell you how I found that out, but
And I think that's where I was sort of alluding to at the start is in Northland, it's not like there's a huge abundance of stunt schools.
Mm.
You know, it's not like you walk down the street while you're on a break and go, oh, there's Dave from Suicide Stunt Academy. I don't know, making shit up. And then you have a catch up with him and him be like, yeah, well, we can do this and that and you can do all this. How?
It must have like popped up in my head, like you said, like I've watched a movie and I'm like, maybe it was someone famous and I'm like questioned, like, did they really just like do that? And they're like, oh no, that's a stunt person.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, oh, well, what's a stunt person? And then that probably triggered me. And then I'm like, oh, well, how much, like, is it, like, expensive to do that? Like, I would jump off a roof if it's, like, good money.
I mean, we've all got different things, right? Cash is king at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you make that transition?
So,
to go
after
from,
that,
you know, would you like your sandwich toasted to... to set me on fire, I'm going to jump off something.
Yeah.
Because they're night and day.
Well, that just, like, triggered me, obviously, movies or whatever. And then I kind of just looked up, like, stunt work.
Really?
Like, I was just looking it up online, and then it come up with New Zealand Stunt School. And so then I clicked on it, and then I was like, no, surely this is just like it's not real. But then I applied, and then they got back to me, and they sent me all the classes that I could apply for. And then, I went in for, like, the first, like, workshop that you could do to kind of get a feel of everything and all of that. And then, at the time, I was living in Auckland. I had moved to Auckland. I was...
Oh, so you'd left Subway and you thought, I'm going to go for a better life now.
Yeah, so I got a job at New Zealand Couriers, the postal courier company.
Yes. It's in the title. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason, people don't...
New Zealand Couriers.
Yeah.
Do you guys do deliveries?
Yep, that's exactly what it says, but, you know.
It's called courier, but that's okay.
It's fine. I worked there in the, just in the call centre, and obviously I could not sit still. And so then,
ADHD kicking in again.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do it. I was swinging on my chair, getting in trouble for playing in other people's places. I'm like, wow, I'm bored. No one's calling, or, you know, I don't want to answer rude people. But yeah, no, I just looked it up, and then ended up. My mum said, if you really want to do it, I'll pay for the first one, and then kind of got me going. And then I did a few classes, and then I was then working at a vape store, and then I did scaffolding and shrink wrapping.
So there's a sense of not a lot of fear of heights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. The vape store's kind of the odd one out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the career place.
I was at the vape store. It was like at the warehouse, and I was like putting like the crates that go to like the big supermarkets and stuff, and I was shrink wrapping the big pellets and stuff. So
yeah,
it wasn't like at a vape shop.
Wasn't a vape shop.
Yeah.
Not customer facing.
Yes. Yeah, I was just in
the warehouse area.
Warehouse. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And then, so you submit your application.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? When I went for drama school, I had to go to the school. I had to have a song prepared, a monologue prepared, and be prepared to do some improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they filmed me, and then they decided whether or not I was good enough. Thankfully, they didn't have enough students, so I was successful.
All right. No, you got in. Pure talent. Pure talent. Don't say that.
So I was the oldest in my class as well. You know, what's the scary part of the thing is I was 23, and I was the oldest in my class.
Oh my goodness.
That was just scary. Like, I remember walking in on my first day, and I was like, high school finished last year, finished high school last year, dropped out early. You auditioned for the piano. You're the star. And I remember being like, I'm old. I'm even older than some of the year twos. I felt bad. And then I stopped giving a shit. It's the first time I've ever done that. Thrown Lee the dirty big thumbs up while I'm in the middle of asking a question. The secrets are revealed. Behind stunt work and podcast work. So you get you go and do you have to do anything? Like, do you just submit paperwork and then do you go, here's a video of me falling down some stairs. Here's a video of me getting thrown through a window. I don't know. Here's a video of me jumping off a building and surviving. What does the actual audition process look like?
So you don't even need an audition. You honestly, yeah. So you pay to go and do the workshop, and they literally teach you in that workshop. And they will keep teaching you until they see you do it, and then you get a certificate at the end. So, like, no matter what, you'll get a certificate at the end for doing the stunt work, first workshop. So you just have to pay to do the workshop, and like they will push you until you get that. So it's really like if you know that you want to do it and all of that, and you will push yourself to try and do it, then you'll probably just, do it. Like most people, I mean, like you probably wouldn't want to go apply for it, but you might.
Is that because I'm old now?
Well, no, you said you liked drama and like not being all like
I want to be
physical.
the star attraction. I was the talent. I wasn't the backup. Although,
Well, then-
and saying that though, that's actually quite. It's not sexist, not racist. Look, it's something-ist. Actorist? Stuntist? I don't know. Performerist. Because a lot of stunt performers have actually gone on to have quite big, successful careers in their own right.
Yeah.
You know, I reference Chad Stahelski. Editor Lee J, did I get that right? Chad Stahelski from John Wick? Yes. Thank you very kindly. That's it. I reference Keanu Reeves on this one. So I expect Editor Lee J to know. Because he started off as a stunt performer and then transitioned across to being a director.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a stunt coordinator, stunt performer on the first Matrix.
I did not know that.
I know. I was hoping that I remembered that correctly and I wasn't going to be corrected. I got that in the background there, so I must have got it right.
Yeah, you did.
You did your courses, but you how many courses before you get your first certificate? Certification?
Yeah. So you get like a certificate every kind of
module that you pass.
Yeah, module kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I did the Fight for Camera, I think it was called. Fight for Camera workshop, and then the Falling from Heights workshop. And
Okay, the last one, mate. That last one makes sense, right?
yeah.
You know, is that the one where it's like you? I was just about to say we're gonna throw you off a building, but it's not. It's not like that at all,
No.
right? It's like did you have the cardboard boxes or did you have the airbag?
No, so we went to like a gymnastics gym and they have like a foam pit.
Oh right, yep.
And there's like a platform, I guess, that you can keep going, like making go higher and higher.
Diving boards.
Yeah,
Right,
kind
okay,
of like
yep,
that. If,
yep.
I guess people would like practice.
Yeah.
Using that. And the highest we jumped or fell from was 8 feet. I think it was 8 feet.
Look, I'm over 6 foot, so that's not going to be much taller than me. That's a small jump. 8 meters.
25 meters.
25 meters. Okay, there's a look. I'll be honest. The difference between 8 feet and 25 meters is quite a lot.
Wow.
Like, putting it into context, just even
something.
using basic maths, 25 meters is nearly 100 feet.
Okay, whoa, all right.
It's a large discrepancy.
Okay, I should have said the second answer first. But, anyway, yeah, so 25 meters, and it's basically making it look like you're falling for real.
Right, okay.
Kind of thing. Like, there's 3 or 4 falls. Say on movies how there's people on a cliff and they get shot and then
They
they're
fall
like
backwards.
falling backwards and
Yep.
they fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's the type of falls you practice. And then, after you've completed the highest fall, then, you get your certificate.
So it's not like you're going to run, jump, and do a bomb.
No.
Right, okay,
No,
cool.
no.
I just wanted to check that.
Yeah.
So, because there are different types of falls, right?
Yeah.
There's the ones where you fall backwards. There's the ones where you're kind of like falling forward, going, and stuff. Yeah. And then was there some sort of acting involved in that as well? Because you have to look like you've...
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So you've got to act like...
I've been shot.
You've got to act like you're falling and stuff. So I think that was like my downfall. Like, I get quite embarrassed trying to act in front of people. I'm like, what if I don't look like I'm falling? Or
if someone
like
pushes
that.
you off, it'll be looking pretty
Yeah,
real.
if someone pushed me, then I could, do it fully. But
especially if it looks like you're going to miss the pit.
yeah.
Then
You pushed me too hard.
Fear of death becomes quite a real...
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was so good. We saw your life flashing before your eyes.
You did perfect.
That's it. Now take her out on the wheelchair.
Did you get the shot?
Yeah. All right. Do we need a second take? She doesn't have a broken leg in the main scene. We'll put it in post. So you got your certificate through your fight. Was the fighting like fencing or guns, or was it hand to hand?
So swords. We did sword fighting. Guns, physical fighting, like pretend punching and all of that.
Yeah.
And you had to through the workshop, you had to make up a scenario with people.
Oh, you've actually got to script something out.
Yeah, so
Wow.
in that you've got to and then, go up and show the class kind of maybe an 8 to 16 count kind of thing where...
What now? Sorry, 8 to 16, what does that mean?
Count so me punching you that way would be one.
Yep.
And then you getting up and doing something would be 2. So it's kind of every... 8 points of fighting, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of how you get your certificate in the fight for camera anyway.
That's okay. So, all right. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm sort of really struggling to formulate this question. So first off, when did you do this?
How old's my son? 2.5. 4 years ago now.
Okay. 4 years ago. So if you're doing an 8 or a 16 count, that's so that you can have a large quantity sort of in camera, right? Mm-hmm. And it all looks like one take.
Yeah.
All right. How does that sort of work with because some directors use a lot of fast cuts and stuff like that. So having an 8 or a 16 count doesn't really apply. I referenced the director Paul Greengrass, who did the Bourne Ultimatum and the Bourne Supremacy, where it was all shaky cam and we're going to get up close and into the action. So what was there any sort of reasoning given for the 8 or 16 count, and any particular reason why those numbers? Why not 13 or 12 and a half? I'm making up numbers now. I don't know how you do the half, but yeah.
I think they did that because we were being taught as one punch is one.
As one, okay.
And the next punch is 2.
Right.
And so your 8 to 16 count could literally be 10 seconds. Because it could just...
Really?
It could be so fast because, you know, fights aren't like 1, 2, 3. You know, you're not going that far, like that slow.
I think the last fight I was in, I got my eyebrow ring ripped out, and I've kind of bowed away from them ever since. So, look, it's been a while.
Yeah. But in, I guess, action movies, it could be like a quick 16 count right there, and it would be just 2 seconds of them
far out.
Just having a fight and stuff. I think they were just referencing that, and giving us those numbers. I guess I don't know why they were those numbers, but just so that we could be like, okay, so this is our whole fight, and we've done the 16 counts, and then now we've just kind of got to make it look like we're not doing them in counts, and
so you're not sitting there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Because it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like it could be real fast, and then like tiny gaps in the middle and stuff like that. So I think they just referenced it so that it was easier for us to. Okay, so this is all we need in our scene, and we just got to perfect that.
Is it like? I've heard some people describe it as like choreographing dance. And when you choreograph dance, you often choreograph to the beats of music, right? And that's why they use 4s, because most music's in 4/4 time. Similar sort of thing.
Similar, but no music, I guess. I think it's similar. It's like easier to, I guess, 2 punches for you, 2 punches for me, kind of thing. It would be. There is probably counts where it's like 3 or
3 and 1.
3 and then 5 or something like that.
Right.
So there could be, but I think it was just easier for the even numbers to
1.
So it's like, okay, then we've done the fight kind of thing. Like 2-2. That's our fight.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of behind the scenes documentaries, so I love watching this sort of stuff. But you don't, when you watch Corridor Crew Stuntmen React. Great series on YouTube. Highly recommend it. They have a lot of stunt performers on, and they kind of talk about different things, but sort of understanding the real granular stuff they don't go into. So this is actually really cool. This is really interesting. So you got your certificate in combat, and then you got your certificate in heights, jumping,
falling from heights.
Falling from heights. Where do you kind of lead to from that point onwards? You go, I really like this. I want to keep going.
I loved it. I wanted to keep going, but it was the financial. It's quite expensive to do them. Like, it's like $800 to do some.
Student loan?
Yeah, I could. I think at the time, it wasn't something that, like, I could get a loan. And I probably just wasn't in the best space of life. That's why I only did the 2 certificates that I did, because my mum was helping. And I was like, okay, well, I need to do it if my mum's helping. I can't just waste her money. And then, like, it just wasn't, like, my first priority. And then I ended up, I was just working and stuff like that. And it was just so expensive. For me at the time, I was, like, and I had no family down in Auckland, so I was just trying to live life as well. So.
Bit lonely?
Yeah. Oh, well, I had a partner, and then I ended up getting pregnant and then leaving and coming back up here because I was, due on the 24th of December, and it was COVID, lockdown.
Oh, my
level
God.
4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was COVID, so that also stopped me from doing it because we also couldn't do a lot of the,
Close quarter work.
close contact kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it was like I could do some stuff, but it was like nearly $2,000 to do those ones, and I was just like,
Oh my God.
would want to, like, that was the horse riding ones where you can, fight on horses and learn how to control the horses while you're in a fight or
Wow.
something like that. And so I really wanted to do it, but just at the time I couldn't. And then COVID hit, and then I got pregnant, and then the level 4, it was the second level 4 COVID lockdown.
I remember that one, yeah.
And the borders were up where you couldn't go to Auckland, and I couldn't leave Auckland unless I had a proper reason, or if it was that. So I was so lucky that my mum was getting mail at her house that had my name on it and her address.
Right.
So she could come through the borders and say, like, look, I'm picking my daughter up. And then we had to come through back, and they checked that I was me.
Yeah.
And then, so then other than that, it's just been my baby ever since. So it's not been like the first thing on my mind at the moment.
So now, if I remember rightly, that second lockdown, Auckland was in lockdown a lot longer than the rest of New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading the stories of the plonkers from Auckland that boosted through Northland and then went on an infestation spree. Mm-hmm. Love Aucklanders. I know. And look, having a child can throw a spanner in the works, right? Mm-hmm. But something cool happened to you in between school and child.
Yeah.
What did you do?
My stunt work.
Yeah. Because you actually got an opportunity to be on set.
Yes.
And you got paid. Did you get paid?
Yeah.
Did you get paid well? Like
for an extra, and what I did, so good.
Care to share with the group
So
what that was on?
Cowboy Bebop. It's on Netflix.
The live action.
Yeah, the live action. I'm guessing is it like a I don't even know the word.
It's a short series.
But it's like a cartoony, like anime.
It's an anime series,
that's it.
or series of movies, and then it got converted into live action, starring John Cho, who was Harold from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes to movies. Yeah. So, how long were you on now? So they don't call it a movie, do they? They call it a show. So I'm gonna try and use the lingo and make myself sound smart. How long were you on that show for, and what was your role?
Literally, I was there for like 12 hours, like filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was. If we go on and look at it, it's probably I'm on there for maybe like 10 seconds.
And could you know what episode?
Episode 9, season 1, and it's like maybe like 9 or 11 minutes in.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's them when they're having a fight through the bar, and I'm like the DJ in the back, and then I'm like DJing. Then all of a sudden they're like shooting their guns, and I have to like pretend that I'm like getting shot.
Editor Lee, I have a small request for you. Can we please get a shot of that just up somewhere around here in the wide? Can we do that? Just a shot of Tiana as DJ T Dizzle. I don't know what your character was called. I just came up with that.
Yeah, no.
So apart from being an extra, did you do any stunt work?
No, not yet. So yeah, I haven't done any stunt work. So that's what I want to try and learn more, get my head around it more before starting the film that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Not film.
No.
I don't know.
It's all right. Seems like as good a time as any to announce it. We actually haven't talked about it on the podcast, believe it or not.
I haven't.
No, not really. So, for those people that are watching or listening, for the past year, I've been working with some really cool people in the background to do a short film that'll be shot in the mid-north. Had a lot of incredible people help me, and some wonderful people that have been cast in the roles. Tiana is one of them. She's, I guess, not top billing, but definitely sort of second tier. And Tiana's also going to be doing all of our stunt coordination as well. Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's we just haven't really shared it with a lot of people because what's the easiest? So do you know how this podcast got started?
Mm-mm.
I'll share with the group. So producer Andrew and I, we worked at a pop culture convention called Plunge, and that happens, I think it's like the first weekend of the second school holidays, and it's usually held at 116. We'd never met before, and we kind of turned up on the day. We had like a Teams meeting or Messenger meeting through that, like a week before, and he was like, "Hey bro, what's up? You bring gear, I'll bring gear, and we'll make it work." Cool. So on the day, we had a plan. Didn't quite go to how we planned it, but we just figured something out. And I sat down and interviewed a whole bunch of people for like little short Facebook and Instagram clips.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone really enjoyed their experience. And I had a couple of people say to me, "Have you ever thought of doing a podcast?" And I was like, no idea. And then I had some people messaging me saying, "Hey, we really think you should do a podcast." And I was like, no. So I decided to then dive on in and do a whole bunch of research. And producer Andrew came to the glorious Five Elements Media Studio here in Te Kāmo. And he came in and sat down, and I was kind of talking with him about what I thought might be cool. And he kind of threw some ideas at me, and I threw some ideas at him. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then he came back about 4 months later, and pretty much as you see now was all built. Like we different shelves and stuff like that, but we are sitting in the original chairs. It's kind of a nice throwback.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, holy shit!" And I was like, "What? Oh, you're for real?" I was like, "Yeah." Why? Now, producer Andrew's been living in Northland his whole life. He's actually never really travelled outside of Northland. I took him to Auckland to see... We went to see June 2. Yeah. This is only the second or third time he'd ever left Northland. Crazy, right? And he's had so many experiences, and I think he talks about it on his podcast, where he has had a lot of people say, "Bro, we'll collab and do stuff," and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've lived in a few different regional areas, and that unfortunately does happen a lot, where people say, "Yeah, we'll do this and that and this and that," and they throw all these big ideas out, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So he told me that story, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not that guy." He goes, "Oh, I can fucking tell." And he then had to learn how to drive all the gear, and we've just kind of been doing this ever since.
Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of why I've kept the short film on the down low a little bit, because it's like I don't want to be put in that position where people are like, "When's it coming out?"
Yeah, the pressure.
"When are you filming?"
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to film when I want, and when people are comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll release it when I'm damn well good and ready. I fund it all, so I'll direct it. I've written some of the script, but because I'm doing it all myself, it'll be on my timetable.
Yeah.
But I'll work with talent, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. There you go. Exclusive for everyone. Yeah. So,
Cool.
hardly anyone knew about it. That was quite cool, though. So, we were, as soon as... And that's actually how we met.
Yes.
Was you were at work, and I came in to talk, and editor Lee J was like, "Hey, I've got someone you should talk with." And then I just remember being like, "Hey," and you were like, "Hi," and then it's like I just went blah, and you went okay, and I was like, "Oh, that's easy," and that was kind of about it. So it's it's been cool to kind of have you along on this journey with us. So I guess if I to sort of wrap all of this up into one piece, you're a mum.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful baby boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apple of your eye, right? Pride and joy can do no wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is stunt work something that you would still like to be able to go back and do?
Totally.
Really?
Totally. It's, yes, not a 9-to-5 job, which will give, you're going to get paid every week with a 9-to-5.
Right. Yep.
But with stunt work, it's a bit harder. I just want to build my resume before I just, put my all into it, because, yeah, it's so scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
And it's so, you know what? This is so interesting and such a very timely conversation. 2 weeks ago, we had the sand. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be more than 2 weeks. By the time of filming, it will be just over 2 weeks. The Sandbox Fandom Festival was held at Forum North. Here we go. I apologise if I've given you my sickness.
That's right.
Okay, cool. I don't apologise at all then. And I got to do kind of like an on-stage podcast with two actors. One of them was Milo Cawthorne, who is from Whangarei. His mum and dad live out in Ororahi, and he was actually coming on stage to do the talk and then flying out to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
He was on film. So
Yeah.
he was he's kind of known as being, I think, one of the Green Power Rangers, and he was also in a New Zealand film called Deathgasm, which is a comedy horror that's got a metal theme to it. So I love the film. And he was off there to film Deathgasm too, off to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
And the first guest we had was an actor called Johnny Bruff. Now, Johnny's got kind of two main claims to fame. He was in a TVNZ or TVNZ Live series called The Educators, in which he plays a teacher. But he's also known as one of the key vampires in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh.
Now, do you know the film What We Do in the Shadows?
No.
It's shot in Wellington, and a lot of it is very off script, but it was directed by Taika Waititi. And he plays the cool vampire. And there's a great scene in there where he has a fight with one of the other vampires because vampires shouldn't have to do chores. And there shouldn't be a chore wheel. Vampires are cool. We did not have a chore wheel. But he was one of the interesting things was he was talking about how he had done a TV series over in Australia, and he'd worked for 2 months. Now, out of that 2 months, that's paid him enough that will give him an average New Zealand salary for a year. So he works for 2 months, get a year's salary, but he hasn't had any work in between.
Yeah.
Does that, as a mother, we're going to get deep on this question. You know where I'm going, eh? She's like, I got a fair idea. As a mother, the uncertainty of the film industry, does that something that plays on your mind?
Yeah. Hard out. Yeah.
And how do you reconcile a 9-to-5 job versus essentially ad hoc contract work?
Yeah. That's what I think is stopping me from kind of pushing it more, because I could get a job for 6 months, and then what if I don't get another job
for 6 months?
For 6 months, and then I'm like, yeah, I might have made money and I'd be able to live for 6 months, but then after that 6 months, it's like,
what do you do now?
Yeah, exactly.
And then could you be away? Would you take your son with you? Could you be away from your son for 6 months?
Exactly.
What does that look like?
I would hope that I could bring him, but then I'm only just lucky now that I've got a partner that will watch him, because I've just been a solo mum most of his life, like his whole life, to be honest.
Appreciate the honesty.
But yeah, so that was probably also one of the other main things that would stop me, because it's just scary not knowing if I could. And then what if I don't even get a job for a whole nother year? And then what do I do then? Like, yeah. So
it's that uncertainty versus stability, right?
Yeah, totally.
Hand on heart, do you think that if you made a real go of it, that you could actually go far? Hand on heart.
Probably, yep.
Why?
I just know. I just push myself. Like, I have to go far. If I'm going to take that opportunity, I have to do it. Like, there's kind of no other way. Like, I just have to, like.
And And this harkens back to your trampolining days.
Yeah.
And the discipline and focus that you had back then, eh? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's that workaholic mentality, eh? If I'm going to do something, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
Not doing it half-assed.
Exactly. And I'd always, with the money, when I left school, like, my mum's not just going to give me money to do stuff. If I want to do something, I've got to make money to do it. Like, no one else is just going to do stuff for me. So got to do it for yourself.
And it's the tough questions, eh?
Yeah.
But hey, Tiana, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. I know this is a bit of a downer ending, but it's actually been really enlightening.
Yeah.
I've gotten so much out of this because, you know, you're still young. You've still got the world ahead of you. And, you know, when it does come time for you to make that choice, man, we'd love to have you back on and hear how you're going.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's been awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Cool. Thanks so much.
There you go, everyone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that podcast as much as I did. Tiana was just such a wonderful guest. Super cool. Kind of an interesting story how her and I met through editor Lee J as well. But yeah, she was just she was lovely. You know, had a good laugh. If you haven't checked it out yet, have a look at our Facebook and Instagram pages for the exclusive rapid fire. That kind of goes off the rails a little bit as well. But there's a lot of loving moments in there, and she references a very special man in her life. Isn't that right, Editor Lee?
That's her son.
There we go. Your takeaway from all of this, what did you think? Was there something in there that you were like, oh wow, shit, didn't know that?
I think it was just about how hard she worked beforehand, like when she left school. I think, but I know that Tiana's a very hard worker, so I'd take her word for it. But I was just thinking I could never work like that.
And you know, I'm going to flick to my wide camera for this one. I think the interesting thing for me is like the work ethic overall. You know, going to school, then going to training, then going to school, then going to training, and just that. You know, that discipline. So the fact that she transitioned from school into the workforce and then had stupid amount of jobs kind of makes sense. You know?
Absolutely.
How old is she again?
She's just a little bit younger than me, so I think she's either 23 or she's just turned 24.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So such a person who is what are we, Gen Z, millennials?
No, would be Gen Z. I don't know where the cutoff is.
Yeah. All right. So not Gen X, which is me, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I'm sorry.
Wow. Thanks, man. Definitely not. She's way too fucking young. Which makes me feel old, but that's okay. The hard work and discipline that she put into it, and then the hard work, you know, and then she just kind of kept that along the whole way, you know, going, look, school's not really for me, but doing 3 jobs, and then kind of going, you know, I'd much rather just do the jobs, and then having a crack at something that was really I remember when I first met her and you talked about it, it was just like, wow, that's so out of left field, man. Stunt school, that's bonkers.
Yeah.
But it all makes sense when, you know, she goes, I did gymnastics, I did trampolining, you know, and she had that hard work ethic. And, you know, it right at the very end, we end on a bit of a quieter note than what we do, where we sort of talk about, you know, does she think she has the tenacity and talent to be able to do it? And I would say if she gave it a real go, she'd have a bloody good shot. Because she's worked ridiculously hard.
She's got that determination.
Absolutely.
And that's what you, like, stunt workers, I know, like, I've watched countless documentaries and stuff, like, just the determination.
Absolutely. And such a perseverance as well. And I think that takes a special kind of person. You know, if anyone doesn't have any idea sort of what we're talking about, I referenced in the podcast the Corridor Crew YouTube channel, really, really cool. They do a series called Stuntmen React, and they bring in some of the well-known international stuntmen, and they sit down and talk about stunts that are on film and TV shows. And it's a very, very good watch. I'd highly recommend it. So it'd be cool if she was on there at some point. That'd be gold. Then we can say we launched her career.
Yeah, could be something she can aspire to.
Yeah, definitely. Ending up on another podcast. But it was good.
Well,
Yes.
Why not? I mean, it's the big thing these days. It's
Podcasting or stunt work?
podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice, to be able to actually connect on a one-to-one basis with another person that in an industry that you don't really know a lot about, or that you don't have any skill in. I've never proclaimed to be the all-round artistic guru. I do some things moderately well, others I just couldn't do to save my life. But yeah, stunt work, man, that's a discipline. It's a discipline. So where can you, our wonderful audience, find out all of our glorious podcasts? Well, I'm going to just run through a bit of the stats now. So for visuals, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All Northland Artist Conversation. It's going to scroll somewhere around here. Here. I think it's over here. And on audio, for audio, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Again, all Northland Artist Conversation. There used to be Google Podcasts. That's now been moved across to YouTube. So you can actually find the audio versions of these podcasts on YouTube as well. So go check those out. And if you're a person that is an artist, or you know someone who is an artist that might enjoy sitting down in the studio and talking with us, or even doing a remote podcast as well, and you live in Northland, man, we would love to hear from you. So please reach out to us. Our email address is hello@northlandartistconversation.co.nz. We try and keep it all nice and simple so you can find us easy peasy. And if you want to just search us in general, just Google Northland Artists Conversation, and we're all in the top results because our name's long and no one else has done anything like that. I'm going to go to the wide camera. We're filming this in the first full week of August. And we had a glorious weekend. It was lovely. And, there's a lot going on. A lot to be excited about. By the time this podcast comes out, for example, the Rayburn House art calendar competition will be done and dusted. I was fortunate enough to have been invited to be a judge, so I was very honoured to do that. At the time of the recording of this podcast, I actually did it during the day, and it was just super cool. I did it with 3 other amazing people, so very, very cool. Very honoured to be part of it. And then I will probably have also emceed the awards presentation as well. Last year's was a lot of fun, and this year's will be no different. Man, I might try and get Rebecca in. Rebecca, Rayburn House. I've been trying to get you on for a little while now. I've had Mum, I've had Dad. I think it's time for you, buddy. I think it's time for you. We're going to get you in the chair. But I'm coming for you, pal. But on that wonderful high note, a little bit stalkery. It wasn't. But, thank you very much for tuning in and, either listening to or watching another incredibly special podcast with another amazingly talented Northland artist. My name is Mark Kelly. On behalf of the entire Northland Artist Conversation, editor Lee J, who's in the studio with us now, thank you very much for joining us, for spending your time with us. My name is Mark Kelly. We'll see you guys real soon.